Hey, team, how are you? Look, it's an absolutely wonderful day and it's an absolutely wonderful life. But life is tough, and I'm always constantly perplexed by what the meaning of life is. Like, why are we here? Is it by chance? Is it by design? What's the meaning of life? What's its purpose? And I think I'm not alone in this, I would imagine. I think everybody is in this situation where we are all doing things as human beings. We're all living, but pretty much most of us, 99.9%, I would imagine, don't know why we're here, why we exist, and what are we here to do. And my kind of raison d'etre, my kind of being is really about finding meaning. Everything that I do, everything I try and action in life is based on a deeper understanding, a deeper meaning of the why we do things. And I just want to say out there that I recognize for all of us life is difficult and it's uncertain, it's unpredictable. Like I said, we don't actually know why we are here, why we exist. We have conjectures, we have projections, we have assumptions, we have ideas, we have our own philosophies, but the certainty is only going to come really at the end of the day through us expiring from this earth, from this universe, through death. But even if that is the case, I have experienced through my kind of rituals and habits a meaning in life. I experience positivity and well-being. Some would argue calling that happiness. I feel joy and contentment. And, I also see a lot of suffering out there. And so I want to try and extend a message out to my fellow human beings, my brothers and my sisters, in the family of humanity, that everything that we do is based on our psychology, and our psychology is based on our thoughts, and the thoughts that we have is based on our mindset. So our mindset is the fountainhead through which thoughts kind of flow. So the journey is to develop the mindset to allow the water, the thoughts that flow from that fountainhead, from that mindset, to be optimistic, hopeful, positive. Because in a world of uncertainty, unpredictability, which is what I've said we live in, we don't know why we're here, it's the positivity, the hope, the optimism that is going to keep us afloat, is going to keep us above water as, we push through things and we go through the journey of life. And it's that positivity that gives us, like I said, hope. And then from hope, we determine meaning, and we get meaning in life, irrespective or irregardless of the uncertainty that exists. So we have to focus on the fountainhead, and the fountainhead is created through the development of thought, how we get thought. So you have to understand that thought, there are different types of thoughts that flow through our head all the time. Like a stream of water, there are thoughts that are going across our mind. But there are different types of thoughts. There is just normal thoughts, which, just happen to us. And then there's a higher level of thought, which is called awareness or consciousness. That awareness or consciousness is the state of being that you want to get to, that mindset that you want to get to. And you get to that through a process. And that process is a sequential, one after the other process. And the process is what I call contextual awareness. Contextual awareness is understanding your place, gaining perspective of where you sit within the big picture of the universe, where you sit, where you stand, getting contextual awareness of how you fit in to the universe. And so when I say contextual awareness, the first step is recognizing that you have been created, that there is something bigger, more powerful, higher than you, a higher power that has put you into this universe. And where do I get this assumption from? The assumption is based on observation. When you look out into the universe, when you see everything around you, nature, and then you see design in nature, and that you see nature carries properties. Properties meaning that there's consistency in nature, and that not only is there consistency in the nature, but there's consistency in the laws that govern nature. Gravity is a law, and it's consistent. So when you understand all this order that exists, then you have to recognize that order does not come from disorder. Order cannot be created based on our observance of the universe from without an organizer, without organization. Now, that organizer has been called in history as God, and God has a lot of negative connotations in today's day and age based on the history of religion. So I'm not saying that the higher power, the consciousness, the creator, is that same God that we assume with organized religion of today, but it is the source, the sovereign, the supreme, the organizer of all that exists. We did not come here by chance. So the first step of contextual awareness is recognizing that we exist, we're here, we're alive, this is real, I'm real. Second, that when we're here, that we have been created, we observe, we recognize that there is a higher power that has created us. The third thing is that we recognize that there is death, and that ultimately we're going to expire from this universe, that we've observed that our mothers or fathers, our grandparents or great-grandparents, friends and family that have been on the earth have it also expired. So we are also going to expire. And once we recognize that there is death and that there is life, then we also are grateful. We have gratitude, appreciation for the gift of life, the gift of experience, that we can touch and feel and breathe and smell and taste, and we're conscious, we're aware, we exist. So that is a process of contextual awareness. It's stage one of the process of living a great life, is having contextual awareness. Some call it perspective, having a macro picture, a broader picture on life, having perspective. I call it contextual awareness, and then recognizing that we're conscious, we're alive, and that we're also going to expire, we're going to pass away. And when you have that recognition of the reality of death, then you're even more alive, more present, and you're more aware, more conscious, more alert, and you're more sensory. And in that state, when you observe, you then seek an understanding of the higher power. Who is that higher power? You have to get to next level, which is like moving from contextual awareness to trying to understand the nature of God, or the nature of the higher power, the nature of nature, the nature of the universe. And that is recognizing that you can't directly observe the higher power, because if we were able to directly observe the higher power, we would have to have the mental capacity, the processing capability to understand who that higher power is. And you would only have that if you were equivalent to or greater than the higher power, and we're not. So we don't have that capacity. We're not able to directly understand the nature of the universe, the nature of God, but we can understand it indirectly through the observing of the Creator's creation. So when we look at matter, when we look at spirituality, when we look at human consciousness, when we look at everything, we can indirectly observe the higher power through the higher power, what the higher power has created. So we recognize that the higher power has to be almighty, all-knowing, all-wise, omnipotent, most gracious, ever merciful, that they are the determiner, because death is determined by them. And, they're the sovereign, the supreme, and there's so many other ways of recognizing the higher power. But when you do, you also recognize the significance or the magnitude of the higher power and your own insignificance in relation to that. So the more you become aware of and reflect over the attributes of the higher power, the more you reflect over the nature of God, the more in awe you become, and the more humble you become, the less significant you become. And you get to a point where you recognize you have no significance. And, that's basically the zone of neutrality, where you move into a space of nothingness, of neutrality. You zero yourself out. And what happens in that space, that is the essential space where you basically become the medium for the higher power, because you've now zeroed out your own noise, your own recognition of yourself in the equation, because you have appreciated so much the higher power, so that you've zeroed yourself out. And as you zero yourself out, because you've zeroed yourself out, you are now the medium, your pure conductivity. It's through you that the higher power can transmit themselves. So when you have zeroed yourself out and you have no significance, and you're neutral, then you can feel at a higher degree intuition. Intuition is, a sense of feeling, what I call the God particle. It's the actual kind of feeling between you and the higher power. Now, intuition, if you recognize it, if you understand it, the point is this, that we have something that gives us the capacity to understand complexity, some very complex issues that we don't even comprehend fully, but it delineates, brings it down to a single feeling of positive or negative. And so our intuition is a feeling of positive or negative to situations, and we act on those situations based on how we feel, in terms of going forward with them or moving away from them, in terms of positive and negative. So when we're in that neutral space where we've zeroed ourselves out, then we're pure conductivity. The higher power is resonating through us. And so what's happening is, when we are present in the world, we're conscious and aware, and we recognize our existence and that death is imminent at any moment, so we're very alert. Then all the data that's coming into our senses, through our senses, is being acted upon through intuition, because we're feeling and we're making decisions instinctually, in real time. And that's called the flow state, is called being present to the moment. That's what we're all trying to achieve, is we're trying to have that highest level of alertness, that we feel fully expressed and fully alive in the moment to moment. And so then what we're doing is we're experiencing the world and we're taking action on it in real time through our intuition, instinctively. And so what we are is basically zeroed out psychologically at the mindset state and the fountainhead, which is allowing the higher power to basically disseminate through us, disperse through us, be us. And thought precedes action, so we have clarity of thought, we act on instinct, intuition, we're instinctual, and we then deliver action. So our action is the most optimum, the most powerful, and that's how we live our lives. So, you know, right now I understand that most of us, all of us, we don't know why we're here, but I've explained a process that allows you, through contextual awareness, to get awareness of your existence, recognize that there is a higher power, show gratitude to that higher power, recognize your insignificance, and in your insignificance you neutralize yourself, and that's where the switch takes place, where you're neutral, you are basically pure conductivity, and then you're at a state, at a mental state, at a thought state, which allows intuition to be felt, and you're allowing the higher power to work through you, okay? And then you're allowing that higher power to work through you, and your thought is before your action, and so the higher power is working through you into your thought, and then you're acting in the world with full presence, almost like godlike, spiritual, a godly person, but not in the negative connotation, organized religion, current state, but as a spiritual being that is delivering powerful action, right action, and positive action into the universe, and you're trying to deliver positive output, and the goal is to raise human consciousness. We are a collective consciousness and an individual consciousness, so we have to work on ourselves within the inside game, the inner game, to become great human beings. But then our greatness is through the impact that we deliver into the universe, to how we contribute to the rest of society, and that then delivers a higher well-being to the collective society, and we raise our collective consciousness. And when we raise our collective consciousness, then that consciousness is imparted onto the next generation, and you will see from one generation to the next generation, next generation to the next generation, how the enlightened people pass wisdom that then raises the next generation with enlightenment. And so that's how we've technologically progressed throughout humanity, how we've developed and evolved. But we can develop and evolve slowly, or we can do it very fast, depending on how we all take action and how we kind of become present to the moment and live a great life. So life is not about happiness. Please understand this. Life is not about happiness. Life is not about, comfort and ease. It's about doing the right thing, and it's about being instinctual, and it's about being present to the moment, and it's about being aware and recognizing that there is purpose in life, and that you've been created, and that there is a higher power. And it's almost as if we have a screw loose, we're missing something. Humanity is kind of skewed in one direction, and it needs its awareness of the higher power to balance it back into the middle. And so if you're not able to kind of fully get contextual awareness in the different ways, and I'm not saying there's one way. I'm from a Muslim background. That's the circumstances I was born into. I was born into a great, loving, happy family. But my doctrine is based on circumstances. It is a doctrine. It is not the doctrine. Based on your circumstances, you're going to come in from different pathways. You're going to start from different positions. But the point is, it's not where you start, it's where you get to and how you deliver at the end. So the idea should be that although we come from different ideologies, different doctrines, different thoughts, that those thoughts, if they're correct, should lead us back to the middle, to the center. And from the center, we should be working together to deliver positive outcome, positive consciousness to the rest of society. Because it's impossible that if you're following the truth, that there can be negativity in truth. It doesn't go with the laws of nature. It doesn't go with nature. Nature is a system. It's an ecosystem. It's it's cognizant of everything else around it, and it works as a whole. So anything that tries to or implies negativity is not working with the whole, and that understanding and that doctrine cannot be the correct interpretation, because I do believe all doctrines were the truth, but now it's a matter of interpretation, because you're not now at the source when the original doctrines were put together. So brothers and sisters, friends, family, countrymen, humans, understand this, that we are here together, and we're all in the same vulnerable position. None of us knows why we're here, but while we're here, we have to do the best that we can, and the best that we can is through a daily practice, routines, rituals that we do through stepping back and getting contextual awareness and focusing on our inside game, focusing on ourselves first, neutralizing ourselves, and then going out and taking great action into the universe. All right, guys, that's all I want to say for right now. I hope that helps. I'd love if you'd basically leave some comments in the comment section below and give me your feedback. What do you think? How do you feel about the points I've made? Were there any points that particularly resonated with you? Is there something that you disagreed with? Like I said, it's about collective consciousness and it's about positivity. And from the comments, we will know how you respond, your state of being, where you are in terms of your your development, emotional development, psychological development, where your mindset is, the kinds of thoughts that you're exuding and holding. And so I would like for you guys, if you value this video, this vlog, to be able to share it with your friends and family. Give them wisdom and knowledge if you've received wisdom and knowledge. And it'd be a great compliment to me if you were able to share this video with as many people as you can, because that means you care about them and you're trying to provide value to them. And hopefully, if the insight has worked for you, it will also work for them as well. And, like I said, life is about raising the collective consciousness of humanity. That's what we're here for, to deliver on our own collective individual consciousness and to raise the collective consciousness. And in today's day and age with the internet, this is exactly what we can do. So let's pass forward positivity. Take care, guys. Bye now. Hey guys, how are you? So it's a beautiful Halloween night. It's what is it? It's a Wednesday evening, October the 31st. I'm doing a quick run around jog. It's day 29 of the 30-day challenge, and I'm loving it. It's been an interesting 30 days. I've been down on my running, but at the same time, I've been developing myself. And although
it seems kind of weird that I haven't been doing the full 30 minutes. I have been running every day, and even though it's been short, I've developed a routine and a habit of being able to get out and do it, even with my shirt on. The point is that I'm not letting myself down. Anyway, I'll add more tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye now.